Dzień dobry.
Good morning. My name is Sebastian and I work at Selena Company. We have prepared an instructional video for you on flat roof renovation in cooler technology. It is a seamless, watertight, highly reflective, high temperature resistant polyurethane coating. In this video, we will show you each stage of the process. We start by preparing the substrate. Then we will cover priming, processing, making flashings and applying next layers. Cooler system can be applied on the following substrates: bituminous roofing paper, PVC membranes, acid-resistant steel, coated steel, concrete and cement surfaces. Tools needed for application: short bristle velour rollers, small and large, brushes of various length for flashings, scissors, spatula, polyethylene buckets, masking tape, polarizing sunglasses, hygrometer, pyrometer. In case of mechanical application, an airless spray machine with performance of at least 4 liters per minute and operating pressure over 200 bar should be used. Stage 1. Substrate preparation. Substrate preparation is the first step of resin application. It is the most crucial task in the process, especially in relation to liquid materials. The substrate should be cleaned thoroughly and washed if needed. Only clean water can be used on the roofing paper, whereas application on steel requires active foam to dissolve residue dirt. After the substrate is cleaned and before priming, masking tape should be applied in resin cutting areas. There are 2 options available. 1. We apply tape and prime the entire area of the roof where the resin will be applied. This solution works best when it is certain that the work will be conducted day after day. 2. Should there be a longer break between gluing the fabric to reinforce the flashings and placing the first hydro insulation layer, we recommend to only prime areas of flashings and only prime the rest of the area a day before the first layer is applied. Before commencing the application of each layer and primer, the dew point has to be checked. Therefore, it is necessary to measure the relative humidity of air with a hygrometer and substrate temperature with a pyrometer. Stage 2. Substrate priming. As with every other layer, primer can be applied by roller or airless spray. For roofs of over 500 square meters in area, we recommend spray application. We can use a roller for smaller roofs. Spraying is more efficient and economic. In one business day, we can cover up to about 800 square meters with airless spray, whereas with a roller, about 300 square meters. Consumption in manual application is about 250 grams per square meter, while spraying takes only about 120 grams per square meter. Properly primed substrate has a uniform color, which means that no part has too much or too little of the primer. After priming, the masking tape has to be taken off immediately. Stage 3. Flashings in cooler system. Making flashings and overhangs requires their preparation beforehand. In case of liquid materials, waterproofing should be started with the flashings. This is the reverse order as opposed to working with rolled materials such as roofing paper. The fabric under the flashings should be cut beforehand and checked whether it fits. After the resin is applied, there is no longer enough time to prepare it. In case of ventilation chimneys and other round elements, the so-called crown should be cut, which then should be sunken in cooler resin. Cuts should be made halfway through the fabric. To improve the water tightness, a piece of fabric should be placed on top of the crown. When fabric is already cut, we apply the resin with the roller and glue the first fragment. In the next step, we sink the whole fabric. This solution is especially recommended for substrates with light thermal insulation and elements which are not permanently fixed to the structure. We do the same with the remaining flashings. We cut, check, secure with tape, apply resin, sink cooler PESRV fabric, apply resin again, and immediately after completing the work, we remove the masking tape. Working on parapets and firewalls should be started with the corners. A piece of cooler PESRV reinforcing fabric longer than 2 to 3 meters can be difficult to glue down. Therefore, we recommend to cut the fabric into 2 to 3 meter sections and place those with a 10 centimeter overlap. Flashings are the most time-consuming stage of the works. During the process, we need to pay attention to the proper adhesion of the fabric to the surface. All spaces where it is detached should be immediately redone or sunken in resin to close the gaps. While overlapping the fabric, it is also necessary to apply resin between the 2 layers of fabric. White spots under the fabric mean there is not enough material under the fabric and that it will result in lack of adherence to the surface. Stage 4. Application of the first layer of cooler. Application, same as with the primer, can be manual or via spray. The first and second cooler layer is grey, so that no roof elements are emitted while applying the outer white layer. We always start the application from the flashings because later they may become inaccessible. Spray application efficiency can reach up to about 800 square meters a day. Manual application reaches up to about 300 square meters. Consumption for the first layer is about 0.8 kilograms per square meter. Stage 5. Application of the second layer of cooler. After the first layer has dried, we apply the second layer. It is done the same way as the first one. Airless spray or a roller can be used. Consumption for the second layer is about 0.8 kilograms per square meter. Stage 6. Application of the outer layer in cooler system. The finishing outer layer of cooler TC SRI 107 is applied only after applying 2 cooler BC 710 waterproofing layers of total consumption of about 1.6 kilograms per square meter. Consumption of the last layer should be about 0.5 kilograms per square meter. It is a white coat which gives cooler its highly reflective properties, thus improving thermal comfort indoors. Just as with the previous layers, it can be applied by roller or spraying. As we can see, the temperature of a cooler coated roof is much lower than that of a bitumen coating. In this case, the difference is 24 degrees. The measurements were taken in early spring at air temperature of about 25 degrees Celsius.